To add these two fractions, the important thing to notice is that they have the same denominator. When they have the same denominator, all I need to do is add the numerators. So that becomes 3 add 1 over the common denominator, which is 5. And that gives me 4 over 5. When we add fractions with different denominators, what we have to do is create equivalent fractions with the same denominator. To do that, I start with my 3/4 and I need to find a number that's a common multiple of the two denominators, preferably the lowest common multiple. To do that, I multiply the 4 by the 5, and to create the equivalent fractions, whatever I do to the denominator I have to do to the numerator. Now I have to add my other fraction, and that's 1/5. To create the equivalent fraction for that, I times the 5 by the 4, and if I do that to the denominator, I have to do the same to the numerator. So that gives me 3 times 5 is 15 over 4 times 5, which is 20, plus 4 times 1 is 4 over 5 times 4, which is also 20. Now we have two fractions with the same denominator. I do the same as I did on this side. I add the numerators. So that's 15 add 4 over the common denominator, which is 20, and that gives me 19 over 20. To subtract, it's very similar. If I have the same denominators, all I have to do is subtract the numerators. So that's 3 minus 1 over the common denominator is 5, and that gives me 2 over 5. Again, for subtracting fractions with different denominators, I have to do the same as I did for adding. I create equivalent fractions with the same denominator. So starting with my 3/4, to create the lowest common multiple of 4 and 5, I times the 4 by 5, and I times the 3 by 5. And for my second fraction, I start with my 5th, and I times the 5 by the 4, and I times the 1 by the 4 to create the equivalent fraction. So that now gives me the 15 over 20 minus 4 over 20, and that gives me 15 minus 4 over 20, which equals 15 minus 4 is 11 over the common denominator, which is 20.